Honorable Governor of State of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, Mr. E.S.L. Narasimhan, Chairman Emeritus of the Tata Sons, Mr. Ratan Tata, our Honorable Minister for Information Technology and Panchayat Raj, Mr. K.T. Ramarao Garu, our Chief Secretary, Mr. Rajiv Sharma, all other dignitaries around me. There's nothing called a dais here today. On behalf of the Board of Directors of T-Hub, I'm honored and delighted to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. I stand here in many roles that I have, but more importantly today as the director on the board of T-Hub. So I'll also like to recognize my other fellow directors. To start with, from my right is our IT Secretary, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, Mr. Srini Raju. Srini, can you please stand up so that people will recognize you? And Mr. Ajit Rangnekar, who is the Director of ISB, the Dean of ISB. We also have P.J. Narayanan, who is the Director of IIIT. We have Shashi Reddy, who is the former CEO of App Labs. And I guess these are the people who are here. But this is, sorry, I didn't recognize you, madam. Sorry, my apologies. Vani Kola, please, why don't you please stand up momentarily so that everybody will see you and recognize you next time. Again, a very warm welcome to all of you. Today is a momentous day in the history of state of Telangana because we are creating the biggest startup in this country. It has now an ability to house 300 startups, 800 people, and the Telangana government very generously gave us 40 crores of money to do up this particular facility. It is, by every standard that I've seen all around the world, a world-class facility. Certainly, we have to congratulate Mr. K.T. Ramarao Garu, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, the W Design team for creating such a wonderful facility for the use of all of us. Let's give them a round of applause. There's a unique proposition from the T-Hub because it has now the connectivity with three eminent education institutions. We have on one side ISB, which provides us the business mentorship. We have IIIT, which will provide us the technical mentorship. And finally, we have collaboration with NALSER, which will provide us advice on IP protection, legal issues, and so on and so forth. So it will be a unique proposition in the sense that three of these eminent education institutions, with all the three directors, being on the board of T-Hub. The value proposition that we have from T-Hub is that we will create an innovation cluster and it will also be a very high-density startup ecosystem. So on the first step, in terms of realizing the value proposition, as a part of the first stage, stage one, we are announcing today that we are signing up with NASSCOM, what is known as a part of the 10K startup, which will definitely make sure that we will have all the best practices NASSCOM has followed today elsewhere in the country in starting up new companies or creating the ecosystem for startup companies. The second one that we are also signing today, and I like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. R. Chandrasekhar, President of NASSCOM. Sir, if you can stand up for 1 minute, we'll all acknowledge your presence here. Let's give him a round of applause. We also have the second MOU, which is signed with the Internet and Mobile Association of India, IMAI as it's called, and that's going to be doing the 10X accelerator for us. You're here, please. We'd like to acknowledge the presence of IMA representative to today. I just have three thoughts to share with this august audience, especially in the presence of the Honorable Governor, Mr. Ratan Tata, and so on and so forth. The first one is, today India is a land of opportunities. You look at some of the things that are happening around us, is that the first 100 million smartphones came to this country in 10 years. The second 100 million smartphones took us only 3 years to come in. The last 100 million smartphones took less than a year to be here. So you look at the connected world that we are seeing today, and a number of initiatives that go along with that, which make sure that there is enormity in terms of opportunity. This certainly gives a lot of opportunities for startups. And added to that, not many people recognize this. I'm sure there's this new coinage called unicorns. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the unicorns. These are privately held companies which have a market cap of $100 billion. Sorry, $1 billion. They'll all become $100 billion soon. Unicorns are privately held companies which have a market cap of $1 billion and were created in less than last 24 months. There are 136 of them in this world. And believe me, there are 7 of them already in India, which is a 5% of the population of unicorns are already there. Which means that while yes, there is no Microsoft or Google that's created, but the fact that we have these 7 unicorns reflects how we are exploiting this opportunity. So therefore, I think what is in front of us is what I keep saying as we have millions of ideas and we have billion minds. Millions of ideas and billion minds. So therefore, there are lots of opportunities in front of us. Opportunities, if you seize them, certainly will become valuable. If you ignore them, they will die. So therefore, the first message I have is, look, there are lots of opportunities for startups in this particular period of time in our country. The second message I have is that innovation is the currency of future. We believe that that is what will make nations different from each other. It's not any longer the military power or the physical economic power that they had, but it's the ideas which will make all the difference. What we are seeing from the West is they all ask this question, what is next? But what we need in India in terms of innovation is more of frugal engineering. And today, technology provides you that opportunity in terms of frugal engineering. You look at Internet of Things, the type of applications that can come in, be it in health, hygiene, education, you name it, whether it is agriculture, and so on and so forth. So it's a combination of technology with an ability to innovate will certainly help us in terms of creating a social equalizer for this nation. So therefore, I think we need to definitely cash on to this innovation as the new currency of the world. The last point I like to make is that doing business is becoming easier than before, especially in the state of Telangana. I like to acknowledge all the good work that's being done by Mr. KCR Garu, Chandrasekhar Rao Garu, who is the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, and also Mr. KTR, Tarak Rama Rao Garu, for not only providing us a stable and a welcoming government. Sorry, sir. Pardon me, I believe it cannot. No, old habits die hard. Pardon me, Chief Minister of Telangana and KTR Garu, the Minister for Information Technology of Telangana. What they've done is they've given us a stable and a welcoming government, and a government actually which welcomes the large businesses as much as they welcome the small businesses. I don't think there is a differentiation that they have between welcoming the large versus the small, as people call these small businesses as personal businesses, or in another way, they can be called as the startup businesses. This is a great reflection of what the Telangana government is doing. This building that you have today, the amount of passion that they have in terms of creating an ecosystem. And I, on behalf of my other role as the chairman of NASSCOM, like to assure the government of Telangana and especially Mr. KT Ramarao Garu that we will, sir, provide you all the support that's necessary to make this particular ecosystem successful. I will quote Mr. K.T. Ramaragaru by saying that he said, walk in with an idea and walk out with a product. That's what he said. I think we have richness in terms of what has been created here. We like to assure him that certainly, yes, you created the ecosystem right now in terms of physical infrastructure. And all of us who have got stakeholders of the state of Telangana will ensure the rest will follow. Thank you very much, and congratulations again to the government.